Black community has always struggled for proper representation in Hollywood. This is especially seen in movies where there is the token Black person, whose only personality trait is that they are Black. And while live-action films are seen the most, I will be going over how the Black community has been represented in animation. And, as unfortunate as it is, the lack of actual Black actors voicing Black characters. Lastly, I'll be going over how recent events have caused there to be a sudden change in voice actors for Black characters. Let's get started. The Black voice has been used among animation for years, but the earliest instance of this being used in some form of media comes from none other than The Adventures of Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris, which predates the far more famous Mark Twain by about 30 years. According to John M. McBride, Jr., Harris took this Black version of folk and mythology stories and told them through what is now called the Black voice. He took the liberty of writing these stories down in a Black accent, which was the accent of the slaves he talked to in the South to get those stories. An example of this is, "I'm gettin' weak, I got no strength, I'm goin' whar de shaders stay." At the time, this sentence was considered accurate and groundbreaking, and has since been used as the basis for the voice of white voice actors who voice Black characters, though now it is considered quite controversial. Disney also used this accent in their semi-animated film Song of the South, an adaptation of these stories for the big screen. Black characters in animation have had the worst luck, according to Xavier Foster Vergara and Irene Fubara Manuel. From the 1920s to the 1940s, and even the 1950s, animation was very much considered to be a new version of vaudeville, so it was not uncommon for many vaudevillian stereotypes, or minstrel stereotypes, such as non-Black characters to dress in blackface, as well as Black people being only used for entertainment and looking very stereotyped. Even characters like Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse did this, both of whom were voiced by white men, Bugs Bunny being voiced by Mel Blanc and Walt Disney voicing Mickey Mouse respectively. MGM also took the time to use another Black stereotype in their Tom and Jerry cartoons, using the character of Mammy Two Shoes, who was always seen yelling at Tom or cleaning. But as time has gone on, modern-day animators and executives have seemed to learn their lesson and have upgraded their Black characters to main character status. Warner Brothers created a role model for young Black boys in the car-loving, crime-fighting Cyborg in Teen Titans, voiced by Khary Payton. MGM, which has since merged with 20th Century Fox, created the super spy Lance Sterling, voiced by Will Smith for Spies in Disguise. And Disney made their first Black princess, Tiana, voiced by Anika Noni Rose, who has been a role model for young girls, valuing hard work over getting a man. But, unfortunately, animation has still had a tendency to use white actors to voice Black characters. The most famous of these cases have been the cases of Mike Henry voicing Cleveland Brown on The Cleveland Show and Family Guy, Hank Azaria as Carlton Carlson on The Simpsons, as well as many other characters on the show, Mandy Marshall as Irwin on Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and lastly, Jenny Slate voicing Missy Foreman on Big Mouth. These are not the only instances of this type of casting. These characters, in my research on them, have all had 4 things in common. They are somewhat too overtly sexual, idiotic, clumsy, and always the side character, never the main one. And how have these miscasts affected Hollywood today? Well, all of these voice actors, with the exception of Marshall due to the show ending, have since stepped down from these roles in favor of recasting an actual Black actor. We also do not know if they truly stepped down of their own free will, or if the studio pushed for it due to the growing need and want for proper Black representation in animation. And, as time goes on, hopefully we will get more Black actors voicing people of their own community. If you would like to read more about these cases, check out the sources.